Om Namah Shivaya friends, welcome back to Dots of Destiny. Today is the video on the long awaited topic of Jupiter's transit into Taurus. Yeah, the internet is flooded with videos for this transit. Obviously it's a very important transit. The equation of your horoscope other than this transit does not change too much, because Saturn will be in the same sign till end of March, and Rahu Ketu also will change sign in April. So nearly it will be the last wing, the last leg of the Jupiter's transit. They will be in the same sign, and then Jupiter starting from 1st May 2024 to 13th May 2025 will be in the sign of Taurus. The first important thing I find is the sign, because the sign gives the essence of the house, and then the planet acts as a catalyst to it, and that is how I see it. Now Taurus is a very second house sign, very nice sign actually, for family, wealth, accumulation, for getting together with a lot of people. Venusian sign. It is about marriage. It can be about extension of the family, like childbirth also. Everything is there. But second house is also a lot of knowledge, because the initial journey of the knowledge, the education that we get, starts from the second house. And that is why Jupiter is the Karaka of the second house. Karaka, the word, actually how I can describe it is kind of a catalyst which adds on to the flavor of the house. So why a certain planet gets the Karaka Tattva of that house is it can add some tarka to it, if I can call in this way, some kind of more ingredients into that house. So originally it should be a very good transit of Jupiter. Here the thing is that Aries was also a good sign, and Aries we mainly had the curiosity. Aries is the first sign, that's why we had the curiosity about ourselves, because about Aries is all about us, me. That's the first sign. It is not about, because that is a sign of Mars. Mars is all about singlehood. That is why Hanuman is the deity for Mars. It is the singlehood of the person, and Jupiter over there could have bestowed us in this last 1 year how to deal with ourselves. Wherever Jupiter transits, the essence of the transit is always putting some knowledge towards the house and how to carry on henceforward the directions of that house. Obviously, Taurus is situated in different places for different ascendants, but still it is the second house. Now here the learning that Jupiter, because Jupiter is a Guru, Dev Guru, and here it is coming in whichever sign Jupiter transits, it teaches us, it gives us the knowledge very much. Saturn first gives the bitter experiences, then teaches us. Jupiter in a better way, it gives the knowledge. That is why transits of Jupiter are always spoken of in a very optimistic way, because here we know that mostly we will not have to suffer. It's not about the intensity of doing a mistake and suffering mostly. Obviously certain cases Jupiter has, if it is a like Taurus ascendant only, it is the 8th and the 11th lord. It has its repercussions are there. Certain conditions Jupiter also gives some problems, big problems, but usually Jupiter's transits are always welcomed. And in the second house of Taurus, now it is from me to us, that is a family. So as Jupiter enters into Taurus, it will teach us how to deal with with the sanskar of the family, with the culture, with the tradition, because Taurus is a very traditional sign. It is the essence of the tradition embedded in us. That is why what we speak, that is also from the second house. What we love to eat, that is also from the second house, because this we consciously, or rather subconsciously, from the childhood we get into the shoes of this. Whatever the family is, our sanskars or our traditions, our all these are imbibed in us unconsciously from the childhood in that way. So here Jupiter will do that in Taurus, definitely. It will increase all these things wherever your Taurus is situated. We'll discuss about that. Now the drishti of Jupiter is also very important. Seventh drishti all planets usually have. Here it is, the Scorpio is the seventh house from Taurus. And then comes the fifth aspect, that is in Virgo, and also the ninth aspect, which is in Capricorn. Now Virgo and Capricorn, these two aspects are, obviously all aspects are good, but there are certain nuances to it also, because Virgo is the sixth house, and obviously Ketu is situated there, so it will some way minimize the effects of Ketu. Now this is not that it's suddenly that Virgo house where Ketu is transiting will become very benefic. Only thing is that you will get out of some kind of a confusion that you are getting from the house where Ketu is transiting now, because Rahu and Ketu always transits from the higher degree to the lower degree, and it gives lot of the teachings of Rahu Ketu is such, it takes it to a little bit level of which is not very concrete. It's little dreamy, it's little vague, it's little too much to handle. When Jupiter will aspect this Ketu in Virgo, it will give a very nice touch to that area and make you understand what things that you are going through, the confusion in that area, how it needs to be handled, and in which way, in what time. First is that. The aspect in Capricorn is it's called a Nicha, because Jupiter becomes debilitate in Capricorn. There's a reason, because Capricorn is a very rough sign, and Jupiter being a very high level benefic, Capricorn, the energies of Capricorn are so intense and dark and so competitive. It's quite difficult, because the Guru doesn't want any kind of competition. It wants a very nice life. So here obviously the aspect is good, but I'll not call it as a very high level of benefic aspect. You'll feel some changes in that area also. That is there. Now here the sign of the Scorpio sign is getting three aspects from Rahu, Saturn and Jupiter. Seventh aspect of Jupiter, 10th aspect of Saturn, and Rahu's ninth aspect. So Scorpio becomes now the theme from this May month to the next year of April, exactly 1 year. Wherever your Scorpio is, you will feel a change will happen in that area, and because Guru's blessing is there, the changes can be a little difficult to handle, but because the Jupiter aspect is the last leg to it, already Saturn Rahu is aspecting Scorpio. Jupiter immediately as it enters will now aspect Scorpio. If it is intense also, because Scorpio energy is very intense always, it will become a little easier to go through the show, as simple as that. So Scorpio becomes very, very important from 1st May onwards, and we'll see as I discuss about the ascendants, how in which house your Scorpio is, and that is very prominent. So here I'll mainly talk about the Taurus house in your horoscope and also the Scorpio. So Taurus Scorpio axis is becoming very, very important for this next 1 year, starting from 1st May to next 1st May, you can say. So let's start with the video and see how different ascendants are getting affected by this transit of Jupiter. That is just 1-2 days to go from now. Let's begin. For the Aries Lagna and the moon sign also, you must see that it is happening in your second house. So till now Jupiter was in your first house. So I feel that though Rahu is in the transit in the 12th house, Jupiter must have graced its presence on your Lagna, and you must have learned and stabilized yourself in this process in the last 1 year, because only if you stabilize yourself will now come your energy can shift into the second house, because second house is not only about yourself, it is about your family, your wealth, your food, your habits, your way of speaking, so many things. It is a good house of transit. Now see this Jupiter, after this Jupiter transits in like 1-2 days into Taurus, then you have a very prominent 2 and 8 axis getting too much activated, because as I have said in this just previous to this ascendant wise prediction, that Scorpio, the 8th house in your case, is becoming very much active with the triple transit of Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu. So here 2nd and 8th axis becomes very prominent. Actually, whenever I see the 2nd and the 8th axis, first and foremost it always comes into the brain is that it is about, accumulation of money, it is about taxes, it is about mutual funds, because that is how I look at it, the 2nd and the 8th axis. So that can happen, very much that will happen this year. You will learn how to, not only because Rahu is giving some, pushing the button, and Ketu in the 6th house will for, some kind of expenses, because Rahu, wherever it is, your mind will always travel to that area. But here Jupiter is giving you the idea how to accumulate and how to go for a savings attitude. Because if nowadays I have seen in many people talking to me in that way, that it's very difficult for saving. So if you're a Aries moon or a Aries Lagna, this is because Jupiter is about rectification of the area where it is traveling or transiting, and how rectification happens once we know that yes, this needs to be rectified in this area. Like it was transiting on your ascendant, you must have rectified or understood something about yourself, because always whole life there is scope of rectification is always there. We always keep on doing some things which is maybe little wrong here and there, we then go and rectify it. So second house things are very important, because it is your family where you find comfort with. In the Venusian sign, it is really good. And when from Jupiter, Venus in the transit will be transiting from Jupiter in the Upachya houses, or from your Lagna, when Venus will be transiting the 6th house, the 10th house, the 11th house, then actually it will be a good, especially in the 6th and the 10th, 11th also, because at that time Jupiter will be aspecting that Venus. So this transit can bring immense changes for you. How to deal with your family members with a cool head, how to, if you want to do some studies, because second house is a house of study, suddenly you can find yourself reading books. That can happen. That will be a very good relaxation, because Jupiter induces that kind of quality when it comes into the second house. Suddenly it can happen that you are dealing with your family members in a more patient way and in a more sweeter term, because the second house, when you get the grace of Jupiter over there, you can speak in a very nice way. But yes, being the 12th lord and your 12th house Rahu is there, some expenses can happen. Knowing that the expense, whether it will happen, you will know it, you will have the knowledge of it. Now whether to go for that much of the expense or not, whether you can curtail it a little bit, that is for you to understand whether what you want to do, because that is the knowledge and rectification that Guru can give in the house that it is traveling. Taurus is a wonderful sign for learning also, good things, because Taurus being the sign of Venus is also Shukracharya, and this is Devaguru Vrihaspati. So both together can teach you a lot of things. If you want to teach yourself something new, get enrolled for it. It's a good time actually. Though having said that, that was very good in the first house also, because now see, second house means your Artha Trikona is getting too much activated, because second house Jupiter is aspecting the 6th and the 10th, and obviously the 8th house is full of aspects, and Saturn also till nearly March last year is there in the 11th house. So 11th and second house fully active. Obviously money matters will be always there in your mind. How to save, how to make a saving scheme, how to go for, many people I find contacting me about mutual funds and all. I don't know, maybe my energy is like that. People want to talk about it. In the share market also, I have found recently people coming me and discussing these things. Though I have limited knowledge, but but I can understand this for Aries ascendant. If you are interested in such field, you can really go for it. If you want to go for a marriage, if you want to extend your family, this is also a good time. But yes, your because the Artha Trikona is so active, you will have a active life outside in your profession, because 10th Lord is in the 11th, and also Jupiter is aspecting the 10th house. So you can get a new job, you can try for maybe good things can happen in your 6th and 10th area of regular jobs, your professional front. All these things are favored actually. Now see, just Jupiter entering into Kritika Nakshatra in Taurus will not immediately give these results, because it will become combust. So in feeling, sometimes it happens that we have in our mind, oh, now we know that the transit is happening, and we feel so overexcited that we try to do some monetary schemes and all. Little take your time, because Jupiter will become combust for nearly 1 month till the 3rd of June. So you have to wait for a while, little bit you have to wait. And then after that, when Mars comes on the Lagna, and it is also aspected by Saturn also, at that time slowly you can try, because this whole till October 9th, if I am not wrong, Jupiter will be direct. So from 9th October to 4th February next year, Jupiter will become retrograde. So again, there some contemplation will be required, some rectifications will happen, but understand one thing, this is a very nice transit, because both the benefits, being a very benefic house Taurus, your second house especially, Jupiter being a very high benefic for you, it will give some good results, that's understood, and make the most of it. Now Saturn will go to, next year will go to your 12th house, and Rahu will come into the 11th house. So a lot of changes are there, and Scorpio is your 8th house. Maybe you know that certain changes, because it is the Martian sign of Scorpio. Maybe internally also you know that certain changes you have to do. So get ready for those things. It is a big transit that is happening. Maybe in later videos I'll talk about the nakshatra when Jupiter especially goes into Rohini nakshatra. Till then, take care, have a nice time. Okay, after Aries comes Taurus. It is on the Lagna. So Taurus people, it is a good feeling that you get first and foremost. Kind of a relief, if you needed some help, if you needed some knowledge, if you needed some money also, because it's your 11th Lord, sudden things will happen to you. Now see, the first house and the 7th house is getting very much activated with, as just before this ascendant wise prediction, I have talked about the Scorpio sign, which is becoming very, very prominent by the triple transit of Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu. All are aspecting Scorpio. That is your 7th house. Now, this Scorpio sign is always an intense sign, and Taurus is, though both are fixed sign, but Taurus is a very nice sign of the second house, lovely sign. It is on your Lagna, and you as Taurus ascendants are, they love all the homely feeling. Whether it is food, they love to talk well, the loving people around them, all these things. You have a good sanskara, you have a traditional mentality, all these things is there with you, whether you're a Taurus ascendant or a moon. Now, since Scorpio is getting so much aspects from all the bigger planets, understand that the 7th house is here to go with some intense energy in the coming 1 year. That will happen. Some kind of changes regarding the 7th house can happen and will happen actually. So whether you run a dasha or not, that is not that much important, because when 3 big planets are aspecting something, some changes will happen over there. Now, if you call that marriage regarding, because it is because see, Taurus, whenever we talk of the 2nd house, extension of the family also we talk. Now when Jupiter comes on the Lagnam, extension of the family, if you want to get into a marriage, if you want a childbirth, because it is aspecting your 5th house, it should go well. Though you have a Ketu running in the 5th house, and if you have had any complications still, or something or the other related to the childbirth, whether you're a woman or a man, that with the knowledge or the aspect of Jupiter can get slowly sorted if you are running that kind of a dasha. Rahu placement as of is good. Your 11th house Rahu is doing good, and Jupiter, now the 11th lord, has come on the Lagna. Mainly you will become very hard working. Saturn being in the 10th, you will focus on, because Jupiter is also giving you the sense of responsibility. That is also very important. And see, it's a Kendra, Jupiter and Saturn. That is also so nicely placed for the next 1 year. So why, if you have any confusion, you will be coming out of the confusion. But yes, in the initial 1 month of from the just 2nd, 3rd of May to 3rd of June, Jupiter will be combusted by Sun. So though you can feel quite optimistic, because though it is a 8th lord also, sometimes sudden optimism is a fact of Jupiter. Don't immediately take any decisions. Let that combustion, because combustion of a planet is not, I'll not say bad, but sometimes the essential properties, some of the properties can be missing. This is what is I have experienced. I don't want to go into a conflict about things. When I've seen Mercury combust in a person, or some essential qualities of that planet I have found missing, and one quality of the planet can be too high. This is what I have seen in my experience with people. So here, you maybe the optimism of Jupiter or can be suddenly make you very flamboyant, because Jupiter expands wherever it goes. Now, because it is combust, I feel some certain important qualities of that planet or the house it rules can be missing when it is combust, will be missing rather. So wait for the time for 1 month when Jupiter is in Kritika. As it goes to Rohini, I'll make another video for that. Then I think you will be able to understand that the betterment, or how to handle or how to do the things. Because money, when Jupiter is in Taurus and it is the 11th lord, money matters, responsibility of money, dealing with money, saving money, all these things will come in your mind. Obviously you will feel that you are growing, you have grown, you have to do something that you have not done, because 12th Jupiter may not, you may have fidgeted, because the 12th house Jupiter was there, the 11th lord. You wanted some desires because Rahu is there in the 11th house, some kind of desires, inflation which you are unable to meet out, all these things may had happened. Though Jupiter in the 12th also works in certain ways very well. It makes us learn philanthropy. It makes us learn the spirituality. It makes us learn and contemplate and sit alone in solitude and understand what is the problem and how we can, should not react immediately with it. All these things are there. But when it comes on the Lagna, it gives a flavor of optimism. Now when it will come to Rohini Nakshatra, because now Jupiter is direct till 9th of October to 4th of February, it will go retrograde. So it's a long time, it's direct now. Slowly your things will clear up. With the knowledge of Jupiter, you can feel like learning. You can these feelings can be, because if you're 8th Lord, if you have some research oriented things, some occult studies going on with your life, then even more, because 8th house matters are even more prominent with this 8th Lord. But one thing is that don't eat too much. Keep a restriction on your health, because Jupiter sometimes expands, and it expands the health part of it, the body weight and all these things happen. Do not eat too much of sweet, because this is also a combination there. And Scorpio being the 7th house, some intense energy is brewing up over there. If you have already a turbulent kind of a relationship, that because Scorpio's nature is very intense and it has to give way for something new. Because until Scorpio is about, it's a very possessive sign, but that possessiveness has to let go by the knowledge of Jupiter. Then only some new thing can happen over there. So understand what is the problem with your 7th house, if at all a problem is there. But if you want to marry also, you should, it is suitable for you or what, go with a detailed thing. Because I feel for a Taurus Lagna, this arrangement of the Scorpio in the 7th house is quite difficult to handle. I feel that as an astrologer, because Scorpio in the 7th is quite an intense energy. So that's the thing I wanted to say. Meet you in my next video. Let's see what more we can talk about Jupiter when it's in Rohini. Okay, for Gemini ascendants now, Jupiter comes into your 12th house. Now Jupiter had been in your 11th house in Aries. You must have had some desire fulfillment, and especially if you are in a Jupiter Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha, somewhere in the last, from January to this time, April end, you must have had a nice desire fulfillment. I will not say huge, because Jupiter though expands, but it is not a malefic, and though it has the catalyst of the 11th house, Karaka Tattva of the 11th house, but still it gives good results in the 11th house, but maybe not like Rahu or Saturn. That's a different planet altogether. Now as Jupiter comes into your 12th house, here also it will expand the thing, but here the axis that it is the 12th and the 6th axis. Now 6th is your Scorpio, and I have told just beginning with in the beginning portion of my video that Scorpio is getting the aspect of Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu, the triple transit aspect it is getting. 7th aspect of Jupiter, 10th aspect of Saturn, 9th aspect of Rahu. Now Scorpio, some intense energy is brewing up, just as Jupiter has come in and will come into Taurus. 12th house is a lot of things, not just expenditure. It makes you realize where to, because certain expenses can make you realize also that where to put a boundary. That's also important, because Rahu because your 10th Lord, that's your 10th Lord, Rahu being there, you can have and some people will have a change of place in the job, which can be a little undesired. Because see, 12th house and the 6th house is your job area. 6th house, some big changes waiting for the next 1 year. That change will happen. Slowly, steadily, it will happen. And one good thing is that since Jupiter is aspecting your 6th house, 7th aspect, till now already Saturn Rahu is aspecting, it will make you understand why that change is important. But 10th lord going into the 12th house, some breakthroughs in a different way. Maybe you can have to go overseas, maybe a transfer which could have been at first, because Jupiter is in Kritika now, it's a sharp thing. Kritika is sharp objects, so it can feel a little sudden, and it may not feel very good, but eventually you will be able to, because Taurus is a good sign and Venus is a nice planet for you. It's not a bad planet. So you will go through it. You can sometimes, if you had been spending more, because the 11th house transit of Jupiter sometimes give that kind of a flavor, and 10th Rahu, 2 Upachya houses from the last 1 year, you had a very nice run, I hope. Now it is a time of little bit understanding. Jupiter, when it comes into the 12th house, it activates the Moksha Trikon, the 4th house and the 8th house. Little bit slowing down is important, little bit contemplation is important, little bit understanding of the spirituality is important. So all these things, all these flavors it'll bring in your life. Now, 5th house lord Venus is your 5th house lord and the 12th house lord. Because 5th means we feel always lucky. Maybe because see, if you have to go through a process, maybe this 1 year, until and unless it reaches Gemini next year, you have to go through a process, because Jupiter is rectification. In whichever house Jupiter will go, some aspect of that house with its knowledge, because it is the knowledgeable Devaguru, it will give you the knowledge how to rectify that area, maybe which you had been put aside for quite long time. That is why till now it is the Aries sign that you had been, your desires, how to deal with your desires, how to, some maybe have been fulfilled, maybe one didn't go. Okay, fine, you adjusted with it, you understood that it's not everything cannot be done in one year. And now the 12th house, maybe because we need the spirituality and this material world should go hand in hand. Now maybe that is the call, that you need to have a spiritual upliftment, understanding the deeper qualities of life, because that is, I feel from my point of view, is very important. So this is a nice transit in the way. Do something from your own, do something which is a little holistic in its way, have some spiritual growth within, learn in a deeper way, to the deeper aspects of life, because 12th house is a vast house. And your Taurus, you may understand that everything is not about accumulation. Maybe something you have to give away. Maybe that is what also Jupiter makes you learn over here, wants you to learn over here. You may start philanthropy. That can also happen. Maybe you were holding on to certain things, because see, Taurus is the 2nd house originally. Here we give and take in our family. We don't always take. We give also. We receive love. Maybe it can be material, it can be not material also. You give love, you receive love. You give some philanthropy, because these donations, the philanthropy, the donations, however it is, whatever it is, or going to foreign land, studying over there, going to a different place, philanthropy is the main expenditures. If you do it in a good way, it adds on to the benefits of your well-being. So don't take it as a slow transit. Yeah, at times it can feel slow, because 12th house is a little contemplative house, not a very dynamic house in that sense. We always talk about the Upachya houses for that, but here a silent approach towards life is needed. We can do with that for 1 year and learn certain better qualities about our life. Yeah, so put it in that way, understand that perspective of life. Okay, then after Gemini, it's Cancer. For Cancer ascendants, it is your 11th house. Your Jupiter is coming into Taurus, and it is a very good placement of Jupiter. Your 10th lord, your 9th lord, your Bhagya lord, From the 10th house, it is going into the 11th house. I hope you had a good 10th house run of Jupiter, because yeah, Jupiter is not exactly the planet we want for the 10th house, but still it gives opportunities. Maybe because Aries is the sign in the 10th house, no, you have given importance to yourself, you have got a confidence about yourself in the 10th house matters. All these things could have happened with you in the 10th house, and I feel it should have been a good transit. Sometimes in the 10th house, Jupiter only, sometimes it becomes a people pleaser. It does, because it is, see, Guru is, it cannot be like a Saturn, very very staunch, and that kind of a quality a Guru never has. So, but overall it should have been a good transit. Now your 11th and 5th axis is getting this thing activated. Now the Scorpio house, which is your 5th house, that's why intensity of the Cancerians are very much in all the all the affairs of the child. As it is, it's an emotional sign, and Scorpio being the 5th house, all love affairs, the child affairs, and all these things become very very intense for them. It's a very possessive sign. Now Scorpio will get the 7th aspect of Jupiter, 10th aspect of Saturn, and the 9th aspect of Rahu. Some change in Scorpio is bound to happen, because whenever triple transit or even double transit happens, things change. Things will give way to something, and some new things will come up. Or it is not always the ending in a bad way. Ending. It's not like that. So this will be the major theme now for you. Yeah, obviously Rahu Ketu is always there. It is there in your 9th house and in your 3rd house, so you can that is okay. That you're slowly coming in accustomed with the 9th and the 3rd axis of Rahu Ketu dance. But here the 11th and the 5th will now take a prominent position in your life, because obviously when Jupiter comes into the 11th house, especially if you're running a Dasha Mahadasha Pratyanta Dasha of Jupiter, some kind of desire fulfillment will happen. Some kind of monetary gains, if you were stuck with money at something, that will happen. It's a 6th lord also. It is going into the 11th house, so it is a sign of Taurus. So you can win over the things. If you had a problem with the Sagittarius, you can have a better thing and better knowing of how to deal with that. Though Jupiter is actually 3rd, its transit is 3rd from Pisces, and it is 6th from Sagittarius, so it is immediately the results you may not get, but it has a long transit till 9th of October. It is direct. After Kritika, as it immediately moves into Taurus in Kritika Nakshatra, it will become combust by the sun. 1 month of combustion will be there for Jupiter. Then it will slowly come out of combustion as it will go to Rohini. You will start getting better results from the planet, and then obviously every planet gets retrograde, and Jupiter Saturn will retrograde for a long time. Some pauses, some rectifications will happen, but 11th house matters and 5th house matters will be very much prominent now, because it is your 6th and the 9th lord. The 6th lord is your daily affairs, the 9th lord is your bhagya, is going to shine, and it's going to go better in a Upachya house. So that will happen for the next 1 year till 13th of May. It's a very good time. 11th Jupiter is a Karaka of the, because see, Taurus is a 2nd house sign and it is your 11th house. And Cancer people, because they are as you know, you are very emotional people, but you're in a this thing also, you are emotional in a competitive way, also emotional. You want that the thing to happen. You are quite the students, they can have a sudden change, not sudden, they will change their plan, because the Scorpio, the 5th house, your love matters, your child can change, your love matters. Now change means always not for bad. It will go through a change, means that metamorphosis, or that is how Scorpio is. Something gives way to something new. The intensity of Scorpio, that's why it's very difficult to judge that in what way. But when Guru is aspecting that, you will have a knowledge of how things will be. And also it will be aspecting your third house. If you have to take any decision, till now if you had been coming and going forward and backward because of Ketu being there, now you will be able to take those decisions properly. And also it is aspecting your marriage house also. So here it is actually Jupiter, when it travels in the transits in the 11th house, it is a good time to marry also, especially love marriages. They can culminate. That can happen very much. So let's see what happens. I hope that transit is because see, it's a 11th house transit. Only thing is that don't Jupiter expands things, don't flare up too much into it, because obviously Rahu is there in the 9th and is aspecting your it is aspecting the Lagna. So that's why don't get too much emotional and don't think sky high all the time. Settle down a bit, and yes, desires will be fulfilled. It is a house of long-term desires. It is a very good transit that you can take the most of. Yeah, so have a nice year ahead. And then transit is happening in the 10th house, so the focus is totally on 10th house and the 4th house. This is the axis. 10th house matters are very prominent in your mind now. Maybe this 9th house transit of Jupiter has given you very vast knowledge about how to handle the things of the 10th house, because that is the 9th house does with us, is it is giving us the higher knowledge, or the knowledge that is required for the 10th house matters, because 10th house is a very competitive house. It is not easy to sustain over there. In this next 1 year, you will be able to figure out how to do the things better according to in relation to the 10th house. Jupiter's transit into 10th house in Taurus, because Taurus is a very for the Leo ascendants, Taurus is a very creative sign also, because from the childhood, Taurus is the second house. It is the house of food. It is a house how you speak. Here most important is how you speak, how you articulate your language with your people in the professional area. Also it shows that what kind of tradition you follow. You have that the way you carry yourself, the way you do things, because it will be always it is aspecting your second house and your 6th house. So second aspect on the matters of the second house, 5th aspect on the second house, where Ketu is already transiting. If you had not been able to save, you're getting money, the money is running out from your hand for the from October, November, then this will put a break to it and you will be able to judiciously use your money. That is the grace of the 5th aspect of Jupiter in the second house, because this is a very good aspect on the second house matters. Your speech will become refined. You will find that you are able to hold on to your money, because Ketu gives money definitely. It can give chunk of money also. Sudden money Ketu gives, especially in Upachya houses. But the problem with Ketu is that it creates situation, Rahu being in the 8th, some unforeseen things, Rahu aspecting the 12th house can crop up that also takes your money away from you. So that thing will be it will be given that solution will come to you, how to deal with it. Then Jupiter aspecting the 6th house can give a job change. You can feel better after the change. That can also happen. Saturn is well situated in your 7th house. It will give you some added responsibility. Whether you change the job or not, it will give you some added responsibility, because Saturn is aspecting the Lagna. So you have to live up to the responsibility. Also, things will take a turn in your house matters, because the 4th house has the aspect of now the 7th aspect of Jupiter, 10th of Saturn and 9th of Rahu. It is a spiritual house also, not only just that it's a 4th house of mother care, home decoration, buy things, home housely matters, all these things are okay. but some kind of a change in heart. Change in heart means some kind of a intensity that will happen within you. Certain things will become very clear to you, because Scorpio is the churning of the 8th house. Churning comes on to the Leo ascendants of 4th house. So deep spiritual knowledge, I'll say, because 4th house is a very high, that is why it is knowledge house also. The 4th house is our education house. Some kind of education you can pursue, which can change your perspective about life. All these things are going to happen. It's a very welcome transit. See, I will not elaborate on the thing, but as Jupiter comes, it will become combust, and 1 month of combustion is there. So as you deal with the matters of the 10th house, which will become very prominent, understand that obviously you have to keep a tab on your health also. Rahu is there in the 8th house, and Saturn is also aspecting your Lagna. So transit is good, and it will yield you good result. It can give you some milestones in your 10th house area also. When the sun, especially, see, you have a Saturn Kendra, Jupiter will be in the Kendra, and when sun comes on to Leo, it can give a very good thing to your life. You can, if you have already done the task, or with the knowledge of Jupiter, you augur your things in a right direction, you can get a feather on your cap. So it's a good transit, no doubt about it, but be careful about the Rahu in the 8th house all the time. Saturn will always first, though Jupiter will give you but it's Kendra Jupiter. Don't be a people pleaser. Try to get into the mode of cut to cut things. Speak well, deal with people in a very holistic way. Jupiter is the guru, which a good teacher, how they deal with their students, and that is how you can do the things in your 10th house matters. So 10th and 4th axis, so both outside world and inside world becomes very important as far as this transit goes. It's a good transit, have the most of it. After Leo, it is Virgo. Jupiter is coming into the 9th house. So 9th house after the 8th house transit, though 8th house must have brought you some financial differences in your life, if I can put it in that way, because see, finances, Jupiter, when I've seen when it transits the 8th house, sometimes if long pending inheritance is there, or tax benefits are there, or mutual fund savings you need to do or something, it gives you grace over there. It does that. It is not yeah, obviously 8th house is sudden events also, so that could have happened, some incidents like that. Now, and especially what I'm seeing for the past few months, which is very natural, Virgo ascendants are feeling very confused with the Ketu being on the Lagna, because they have a Saturn in the 6th house. They have a lot of changes happening in the 6th house matters, because whenever Saturn transits a sign, especially if it's a Upachya house like the 3rd, 6th, 10th, 11th, it brings a lot of disciplinary changes. Especially the 6th house, it's like that. Though the person may feel, is it worth it? It's not worth. Should I do? I should not do. I change it, my job area, whatever, what to do, what not to do. So many questions can arise, because Saturn is making you becoming strict and disciplined in that area. Now, how to go with the process? You feel that because Ketu is on the Lagna, some kind of confusion is happening, some kind of clarity you are not getting. Because Rahu is in the 7th house, no? Your attention is maybe how to keep your partnerships going well. Rahu can create some dreamy ideas about the 7th house matters. Now, as Jupiter comes from your 8th to the 9th house, it will be aspecting your Lagna. Slowly things will become clearer for you, and you will be able to now go towards the way that you were skeptical before. That will happen. But first month Jupiter is fully combust. Full month of May it's combust. So the knowledge is not exactly clear at this point of time, because combust planets, they have one two characteristics missing from. That is the problem with the combust planet. It cannot give you the full strength of the planet, whatever it holds. Some areas can be, your optimism can suddenly increase, but still you feel you want to do or not. Wait for Jupiter to go to Rohini or come out of combustion, and it will be a better transit. You will be able to understand, because it will be aspecting your Lagna, your fifth house. These places will get the grace of Jupiter. Now, being in the ninth, it will aspect your third house. A change of locality, or some problem with the neighborhood, or some problem with the younger siblings, or something that may had been going on, because Rahu and Saturn was already aspecting this sign of Scorpio. Now the triple transit, the last leg of Jupiter transit, gave the aspect of Jupiter also on Scorpio. The third house matters. Third house matters are definitely going for a change, 100%. As you get higher knowledge, as you gather the knowledge how to deal with the situations for yourself, for your third house matters, for your love matters, or children matters. Maybe some children things are cropping up in your mind in the sign of Capricorn. Jupiter will aspect it. All these things will become clear, but slowly. First leg of the direct transit of Jupiter is till 9th of October. Till then, certain things will be clear to you. After that, Jupiter, when it goes retrograde, at that time we'll understand the other planets, how they behave, and but because retrogression is again back and forth energy, a little back and forth. Maybe you want to do it immediately, but circumstances will not let you do until you go through that process of retrogression, and then the time will come when you can finally, the thing will be done. This you must have understood in the last year also, when Jupiter went retrograde and finally it became direct from 31st December 2023. Maybe from January to this time, regarding the 8th house, or whichever house Jupiter was in Aries, matters got solved. So this takes time. The retrogression is necessary at times. Yeah, it's a necessary evil, I can say. It makes us feel a little tired, but that is how it is. But understand that the ninth and the third axis, that is your efforts also, your third house, you have to put in some effort in a different way, not the way you're doing the things now, in a different way. How it is, that will become clear. Slowly it will become clear. So wait for the transit to unfold. Yes, changes are there ahead, because you'll get the aspect of Jupiter on your Lagna, and on your fifth house, your Purva Punya, you will be able to understand what to do and how to do with the situation. But some incidents in the third house can be, some incidents may change. If you're going for a house change or something, can happen that you have to rethink it and go through an intense energy of the Scorpio to change that thing of the third house. That can also happen. That will happen, not can, it will happen. So wait till the transit. It's not a bad transit. As far as Jupiter gives you the knowledge, you go with the knowledge, you do the rectification required. The transit is a good transit. This is important. As of now, it is important for you, this transit to happen, because Saturn become a very strict master in the 6th house, and Rahu Ketu is on your Lagna in the 7th house. You need this grace of Jupiter for the next 1 year. Okay, after Virgo, then it's Libra. Libra, the transit is happening in the 8th house. 8th house Jupiter transit is expansiveness, and the sign is Taurus. All the wealth matters of the 8th house will come into thing. Now see, it is always 8th house will give kind of an inheritance things. It will like nowhere certain things will crop up. You have to deal with it. Though Jupiter will grace its presence over there, it will give you the things also. If you have a tax return in the card, if you have an inheritance, if you have to go for research, if you have to go for occult studies, if you have to go for a transfer, things will happen. It's not that it will not happen. It will happen, but 8th house, it will take away something from you to give you something in return. And you see Rahu is in the 6th house for you now, and 11th Ketu is there. So many Libra people are having a changeover in their job matters. Lot of people are having that. Saturn is in the 5th house. So 5th house means it is all about, because Saturn is such a yoga karaka for the Libra people, the 4th and the 5th lord, they want some recognition. So maybe for that you have to change your 6th house things, your 10th house things. So Rahu is aspecting your 10th house, and as Jupiter transits into your 8th house, it is aspecting, the 7th aspect is on your 2nd house, and Rahu is also having the 9th aspect on Scorpio, and Saturn the 10th aspect. 2nd house will have lot of changes also. Scorpio is a sign of change, and the triple transit of 3 big planets, whether you run a dasha or not, it will give you some results of the 2nd house also. So the 2nd 8th axis, whenever it is very prominent, some monetary things, some saving things, some family related issues which will get solved in a different way, which till now you may not have envisaged. Now whether it's good or bad, it's very much dependent on the transit of Mars also. That is very much important. So see, that is how the sign of Scorpio works. Scorpio is not an easy energy at any time, and your after the Rahu Ketu axis of 6th and 12th, which is a good axis actually, Rahu in the 6th is a good placement. Now this axis becomes prominent for the next 1 year till 13th of May, as Jupiter is in the 8th, and triple transit aspect is happening on your 2nd house. So your money related things, how you're utilizing your money, how you're saving, you can go for mutual funds, because Scorpio is all about these things. It is the original 8th house, no? So it is tax, inheritance, mutual funds, SIPs, dealing with ups and downs of shares. All these things are Scorpio. So that these things will come to your mind, because 2nd and 8th axis is mainly about monetary things mainly. Yeah, 2nd house has lot of other significances also. One of the significance is your speech, one is your food. Maybe you have to alter your food habits, that can happen. Maybe your speech goes for a different kind of a flavor after the aspect of Jupiter. That can happen. These things are going to happen to you. Maybe your family, you have to leave or come back, or something about the family issue, that can also be there with this transit. So these things are going to happen. As far as Scorpio is a very intense sign, it will change, some things will give way to some new things, and then you have to carry forward that. Because the aspect of Jupiter there, you'll do it in a good way. 8th house Jupiter, as far as learning, research, inheritance, tax returns, all these things are there, it is good. It's good in that way. But it can give certain chronic diseases also. Some, because 8th house is like that. Maybe if you had ever indulged with your food habits and all, so some rectification over there Jupiter wants to make. You can have, if at all, if you have to go with a surgery, because Jupiter is aspecting your 12th house, Ketu is already there. So you will know the right time to do it. It is that way the transit will help you. Though it is not a quote unquote great transit for the Libra people, but this transit will obviously, as Jupiter changes from your 7th to the 8th house, the flavor a little bit, it shifts from the 7th house matters to the 8th house matters. Now that is the thing. Suppose if Jupiter in the 7th has given you marriage, then maybe, because 2nd house is after marriage house, you have new responsibilities, you have to add on to the money, you're thinking more how to save, or all these things can happen with Jupiter there in the 8th house. Or something with your in-laws, some property related things, all these things can happen. So it is okay transit. It is, I'll not say 8th house transit is a very great transit, but some kind of spiritual insights also you will get. But be cautious about your health, that is important. Okay, after Libra, Scorpio, it is your 7th house. You are now having that phase, you come into that phase where you feel that partnership is very important, or how to rectify your 7th house matters if you have had recently some problem for the last year. Because see, Jupiter was transiting in your 6th house. 6th house matters became very important. The Leo sign was very important because Saturn was aspecting, Jupiter was aspecting all these things. Now Rahu was also there last year in the 6th house. Rahu now moves into the 5th house, and 5th house matters is all, it can be love related matters, and you want to go for a marriage, that can be on the card. If you your children, your first children especially, can go for a abroad study, that can also happen because it is a 5th lord also coming into the 7th. Your partnerships will become better. You with your partner can go for some investments because Taurus is a very homely sign. You can feel like home coming back to your partner in some way, or that kind of a flavor, because Jupiter there in the 7th expands the 7th house matters, and it is aspecting your Lagna also. Scorpio is a sign which is going through a triple transit this year, from 1st May to next year March end, April beginning, like that. Jupiter is having the 7th aspect, Saturn is having the 10th aspect, and Rahu is the 9th aspect. So Scorpio becomes very, very important, and it is what your Lagna. You are in that, change will happen for you. You will change in some way. Maybe you wanted that change and you were not able to do that change. You didn't know how to do it because Saturn and Rahu was aspecting, but it was quite a tug of war, push and pull for you, because Saturn aspecting Scorpio is a very intense energy always. But now you will know, yes, if I do this, I can glide through the change. A change is definitely coming for you, definitely. It will happen in your personality. People will see. Maybe you were not conscious about your health too much. Maybe in the 6th house some loans, some enemies, some diseases had cropped up when Jupiter has made that come into your view when it's transited the 6th house. And now as it comes into your 7th house, you want more stability for yourself. You want a partner to share with. You want, if you're at that age, or your partner becomes very important for the next 1 year if you're already married for long. Your relationship comes to a very nice condition with the transits of Venus whenever it is right. Also, if you have a Jupiter Dasha, Antardasha going on, and Jupiter aspecting your Lagna with Saturn and Rahu will give a change in the personality. You will now live for yourself. You will make a change for yourself. That 1 year, this 1 year will make that happen. Immediately as Jupiter will enter in Taurus, it will become combust. So, first month don't go for a marriage. Combustion Jupiter we don't need for a marriage. It's not, because some elements, good elements of Jupiter with combustion can go missing, which is not required. That's why combust Jupiter Venus, marriage is not desired until and unless other factors, sometimes it's very urgent, something has to be done. And then as Jupiter comes out of combustion in the month of June, and Mars also comes into your 6th house after conjunction with Rahu, it is a good time. You're going to a dynamic time. It's a very growth oriented time, and when the time is like that, Mars will be aspecting Scorpio also at that point of time. Well, it comes into Aries, and Jupiter will come out of combustion. 4 planets will push your, it will push your energy up. You have to live up to that energy, Scorpions. You have to grab that energy. It's not a time to sit back and contemplate. It's a time to go ahead. Give it to your growth. How rarely you come across such transits happening with the ascendant. Very rarely. Seize the opportunity. If some promotion is there, if something is there, you want it, you go and talk. You can have a really, you can have a nice conversation, and you can take the process forward. That kind of things are very much in the cards for you this next 1 year. It's a very nice, I feel, because see, if change is not there, I feel life becomes too much in the same circle. We keep on moving. This is change, obviously. Without a change, you cannot have that three big planets are aspecting your Lagna, you are pushed to make a change. But Jupiter will give you the knowledge, yes, how to make the change, how easily you can glide through the change. It's a good transit. If you are, in the age of marriage, you can definitely get married. You can, if you want, if you have the desire, that desire will give way, and you will, because it is it is activating all the karma trikons 3, 7, 11. Ketu will bring in good money, and Jupiter's aspect on it, you'll know when the money is coming, from whom and what, if you have money stuck up for long and all this. So it's a all in all good transit. So be very positive and go for it. Till 9th of October Jupiter is direct, then it will go retrograde till 4th of February, but till then it's a long run till 9th of October. So seize the moment and go with it. Aquarius ascendants and moon sign. Jupiter is now transiting your 6th house after the 5th house transit in Aries. So how do you feel the last 1 year in your 5th house? Did it give you the essential creativity that is required? It must have given you also some wisdom, because it was aspecting its own Lagna. You must have changed in some way or the other. Now that change, that productivity, creativity that you have got from Jupiter, and how to deal with things with the higher knowledge, because it was also aspecting your 9th house of Leo, you come now into the 6th house matters. Rogrin Shatru. Now see, Jupiter, many will say that it doesn't work good in the 6th house, but it's not exactly like that. There is a yoga called Vasumati Yoga, which having all the benefits in the Upachya houses. So whenever this Jupiter transit in Taurus in your 6th, and Venus will be transiting also the 6th house, the 10th house, the 11th house, you will have bouts of good news and good changes that will happen in your life, or good growth, if I can put it. Some changes in the job front is seen, or some rectification. Rectification is the best way how I see Jupiter, because it is a guru giving you the knowledge, and that knowledge is required for us at times when Ketu is there in your 10th house, giving, maybe it has put in a lot of confusions in your head. You want to fidget with those, but you're unable to exactly understand what to do with those things. So this transit of Jupiter gives employment for the unemployed, deals with loans and Rogrin Shatru, all these things. If you had some problems, or if you know that you are having an obesity thing or something, so be careful about that. But this Jupiter will aspect your 2nd and the 10th house, and the 2nd house is a Artha house, and the 10th house is also there. Maybe the Dev Guru coming into the Artha houses, sometimes it may be not, you don't want to go into fierce competition. That kind of a planet, Jupiter is not that kind of a planet. It's not like Rahu and Saturn, but it will give you the necessary details that you require, the necessary steps that you require to follow ahead, especially the aspect of Jupiter and Ketu. It's not that Ketu suddenly became benefic. You will have confusion, but slowly you will understand how to deal with that confusion. Whom to cut away, whom to keep, whom to be friendly with, how to deal with your immediate, subordinates, your co-workers, everything will come into your understanding. That is important. And because it's a house of Taurus, and the 4th house Rahu is also there in Pisces, and your ascendant is that, you can take a loan. That may well happen if you want to go for a property related thing. Loan people usually easily take when they have Jupiter in the 6th house, but it can suddenly give you a lot of appetite also. Be careful about that. Appetite for loan, appetite for food, both, because Taurus is a foodie sign. 2nd house will also get aspect. Maybe you're trying to, some way do good to your savings, family members or something. Because Jupiter is having an eye on the material perspective of 2, 6 and 10. that is naturally, that is the thing that will come first to your mind, unless it is aspecting your ascendant later in next year, and you will have a self-oriented growth. This is material growth, obviously, but that's why this I like the transit of Jupiter from, you know, the fifth house must have given you some self-realization, self-growth, because it was aspecting its own house of Sagittarius. And now through that growth, you know how to mitigate through these six house things. It is not a bad transit anyway. I cannot call it bad at all. And it will give employment for the unemployed also. It's a good transit, barring that Rahu Ketu is in such an axis that I personally do not like this 4th and 10th axis, especially Ketu being in the 10th. See, Ketu is such a planet, because it is now Jupiter will aspect it. You'll understand that you have to think about not only yourself thing. You have to go with everybody in the professional area. Ketu is for a holistic growth. If you concentrate, because Ketu is headless, you have to think with your heart wherever Ketu is. And thinking in the professional area with the heart means what? You have to maintain a good that kind of work you have to do, which not only benefits you but many people around you also, that way, to keep a big heart, literally that kind of a work. Now the Scorpio sign, that is your 12th house, is very highly given it is having an aspect by Jupiter 7th aspect, Saturn 10th and Rahu 9. Lot of internal realization, subconscious activation, understanding. If you have already a planet in the as it is 12th house Scorpio, see there are two placements of the sign Scorpio. It is the 12th, 4th and the 8th, which is for Sagittarius, for Aries and for Leo. That's why these three signs are Dharma Trikon signs. They have this intense energy in the Moksha Trikon of Scorpio. You will think about the higher powers also. You will have that kind of an intuitiveness within you, within your subconsciousness, that will uplift you. And that is why you will have to maintain some kind of a balance between your material things, because your Lagna Lord is traveling the Artha Trikon, and also it is aspecting with two other planets like Saturn and Rahu, the 12th house. It's a 1 year of aspect, so you cannot miss it. It will happen. Some foreign related things can happen. If you want to go for a studies, you want to take a loan, that can also happen. It may well happen actually. Maybe you thought when Jupiter was in Aries you wanted a foreign study to that will give a boost to your career. You can your official area, how to deal with, and if there is too much complexity regarding that, then you will be able to sort out it within yourself with your meditative tendencies, because meditation is a very good way of dealing with stress, pressure, because 6th house and 10th house is having Jupiter Ketu there. Stress related things, Rahu is in the 4th house, so 4th house matters can be a little volatile. So these things, if you have to handle, then you have to go in knowing your spiritual gifts, and in giving coming up with those and dealing with those, and making a habit of going into some kind of a holistic life practice, a nice organic practice like meditativeness, prana, and all these things are good. Health also, you have to keep a tab and check on your high pressure levels, your cholesterol, your sugar, all these things you have to keep a check. Health may sometimes give a little bit trouble, because see, Venus is after all your 6th and 11th lord, so it is the 6th lord, and your Lagna lord is going in the sign of the 6th lord. So these things are there, but no way it is a I'll say 60-40 transit. 60 to your benefit, and 40% you have to go through some intense spiritual lessons. I will not call it spiritual upliftment, some epiphany, some kind of things suddenly will understand. You'll get into understanding, but it'll give you some sort of pain, because Scorpio is that energy. But then you'll know that this pain was necessary to let go of or bring in this kind of energy in my life. That will happen. Okay. Then after Sagittarius is Capricorn. Capricorn, there's a fifth house transit of Jupiter. Okay, children, love affairs, share market, investment, name, status, some kind of fame becomes very important for you at this point of time. So Capricorn, as Saturn is in your, and Rahu is in the third house, and your third lord, Jupiter is your third lord and your 12th lord. So see, Jupiter is not a very, though Guru is always benefic, but some effects of the 12th house and the third house, some efforts in the 5th house, and some losses also of the 5th house, both can come at the same time. Now 5th house is a very creative house. If there is some loss in the 5th house matters, that loss can be emotional, that loss can be related to some kind of good deeds or bad deeds that you encounter with this, that rectification that will happen in your 5th house matters. Take it to your stride, go along with it, develop some creative habits within you. It will help you to go ahead, and it will help you in the process. Taurus is a very homely sign. If you want to, some hobbies of cooking or something, with the kids, if you have some issues, how to rectify your things and then come in good terms, that can well happen in this kind of a transit. And it is aspecting your Lagna and the 9th house. It will give you the essential knowledge, though whether you accept it or not, because Capricorn is a very late sign. It is because the core values of Saturn are here. It does not feel much, satisfied with the Jupiterian kind of, that's why Jupiter gets, because it's a very practical sign, and Jupiter is not exactly the practical planet. It is about dealing with the higher spiritual pursuits, and it may seem a little futile at times, but what I'll say is that because there is a 5th house, this thing about if you have to maintain a relationship with your loved ones, your children, if you have to be, because Rahu is in the 3rd house, if you have to go for some creative pursuits, if you want to do something, you are just on the edge of wanting to do something, don't negate the 9th house matters, because Ketu is there. Ketu and Rahu in the 9th, the problem is that it gives a very dilly-dally way of dealing with the 9th house matter. Sometimes if things happen, I believe in higher learnings. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't, I don't believe. So that kind of things is there, because it is a sign of Virgo. Understand, not always like that. Suppose it was a sign of Sagittarius for Ketu, then obviously Ketu has the knowledge. For Pisces, then Ketu has the knowledge from Jupiter. Now Jupiter will be aspecting your 9th house. You have to stand up to the dharma. You have to learn the, the consciousness or the subconsciousness, and then come into the dharma of the 9th house matters, which maybe you have been neglecting. You should visit temples at this. You should, do some mantra chanting at this point of time. That is very important. Your 11th house is getting aspect of Jupiter, Saturn 10th aspect, and also Rahu 9th aspect. Things will change in the 11th house matters. Your networking groups, your monetary benefits, it can change in a better way also, because it's a Upachya house, it can grow. Some changes are evident. 100% it will happen in that Scorpio sign, because whenever there is a triple transit happening in any sign, some fruition will come into play, some kind of results it will show. Now the results for Scorpio is very intense, but when you get the aspect of Jupiter over there, at least it's inevitable. I have to do the changes. Some changes in Scorpio, wherever it is situated in every ascendant horoscope, will go through a change, and that change needs to be accepted for the higher growth of that person. Because Scorpio is the 8th house, where the path is deviating from Scorpio to either Sagittarius or Libra. Sagittarius is a higher dharma. Go towards that. You have to leave something. Something is to be left, so that you go through a process where you rise as a phoenix. Your 11th house matters. It is not bad. I'm not, again I'm emphasizing, it's not bad. It is for your own growth. Upachya house, it will give you a new growth. It will make you understand these things are required, not required, your networking circle, your gains and whatever it is. It will change, and for better only. I feel it is for better only. So it's a tricky transit, because Jupiter, as I said, it's not exactly your best planet. It is the third lord. It will give you if you can do some good hobby related things, or some learning, some mantra chanting, some visit to the temples, pilgrimages, all these things is good actually. This will be good. Saturn is in the second house. You will think about money matters. All the planets are aspecting 11th house, so second and 11th house also becomes very important the next 1 year time. So these things are good as far as the transit is there. Saturn in second, Rahu in third, Jupiter in fifth. Not bad. It is good. And your Lagna is getting aspect by Jupiter. Take the knowledge and go with it. Especially if you are running a Jupiter Mahadasha, Antardasha, then definitely that should cross your mind how to righteousness, the path of righteousness, a dharma, how to take hold of it. Always practicality doesn't help. Always sometimes we have to go a notch higher than this 3D mundane level that we are dealing with every day. That is what we call practical. Emotionally, intelligence is very important. That is the job of Saturn. Jupiter will give you the knowledge how to get emotionally intelligent. So do it. From Capricorn we go to Aquarius. Aquarius is the fourth house. Actually, Jupiter is your second and 11th lord and coming into your fourth house. The fourth house, Jupiter is good actually. It is aspecting the 8th and the 12th house. It is more about education. It is more about learning. It is more about gaining the spiritual perspective of life. Though the sign is Taurus, obviously it's a very materialistic sign, but still you can learn. Whether you implement it or not, that is a different thing. But Taurus is the second house of learning also, and Venusian sign also. Yes, there can be some tussle in the mind after the learning, where to hold on to it, because see, your Ketu is there in the 8th house. It is somewhat giving you, and Saturn is there on the Lagna. Saturn is a big spiritual master actually, and whatever trouble Saturn gives you on the Lagna, you can overcome with this knowledge of Jupiter. Get the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge of Jupiter that it is about to give you in the 4th house. Because 3rd house Jupiter, I feel, yeah, it gives travels and all these related things. It gives you time, go to here and there, earn according to your capacity. All these things is fine. You can have small groups, your neighborhood and all these can matter in the 3rd house transit. But 4th house is a very nice house for going to depth of knowledge. Get that depth of knowledge. It will aspect your 12th house, and it is aspecting your 8th house also. 8th house Ketu is there. Rahu Ketu, whenever it is in the 2nd 8th axis, some trouble it causes. Yes, the situation with Aquarius people or Aquarius moon, because it is a full Saraswati, is not very good. I agree with it. And this transit is not very result yielding transit, if I can say. Only obviously you can feel some kind of spiritual development. You can feel I need to learn. You can, if you want to buy property, that you can, but see that Rahu is aspecting the 6th house from the 2nd. Too much money you don't take up. Be holistic in a Jupiterian way, you understand the transit. But 8th house matters if you were having sudden issues coming up, because Saturn is also on the Lagna. It is not a very easy planet, and Saturn loses its Digbala in the Lagna, so it gives a lot of trials and tribulations. So 8th house matters can become a little clear in your mind now. Obviously, I understand that the Aquarius people are not going through a very easy time at this point of time. But understand this also, if it is this for your Lagna, it will be something other for the this situation has not happened maybe in the past 15 years. Maybe it started when Saturn came into your 12th house, because Saturn, whether it's Lagna or Rashi, tries to create a new base when it is in the 12th house, in the 1st house and the 2nd house. That's why from the Lagna also I have seen, obviously Sarasati everybody talks about, but from the Lagna also, when Saturn transits the 12th, the 1st and the 2nd, always, especially the 12th and the 1st, the people of that Lagna, like for you Aquarius now, feel something is irritating and not unsettling for them. That problem remains with Saturn, because it wants to change your whole thing. How long you will be doing the same thing? Now Jupiter, if you can, because 4th house Jupiter gives some comfort, you can feel a little comfortable at your heart. Some changes in the home can happen. When Venus transits, you'll feel nice also, you'll feel loved. That is also there. You can love your family members, you can come back from a different place to your family, you can join. That is also there. But still 8th house matters are quite sensitive, because Ketu being there and Jupiter aspect is there. If you have a chronic disease and need some hospitalization or some surgery or something, then don't delay it. Keep a tab on your health. Saturn is on the Lagna. It always advises you to keep a tab on your health matters. That's very important. So go with this transit. There's no other alternative. Tough time happens for every ascendant. Believe me, it is not just for the Aquarius rising or the moon. Yeah, when it happens, it takes a long time. That is for sure. Now the Scorpio house, that is your 10th house, will become very active. Saturn is already aspecting it, Rahu is aspecting it. You must have been going through a lot of changes in the 10th house matters. Stiff competition, lot of people here and there, switching gears, here this, lot of things with the bosses, maybe subordinates. Now when Jupiter will aspect it, you will know how to deal with it and how to let certain things go, and then follow the, follow your, go through the change, because the change will happen, and it will happen in an intense way. That is understood. Scorpio is that sign. Wherever Scorpio is now in any ascendant, it will go through a change for this coming 1 year. Always any change will take step-by-step process to change, but it will change. So your 10th house matters will go for a change, and you can achieve something also in the 10th house matters, because 10th house is that kind of a house who can deal with that so many energies, because Jupiter aspect, Saturn aspect and Rahu aspect, it can deal with such energies, the 10th house. So some good can come, productivity, some kind of productivity that had been missing. Only maybe you are feeling the pressure, some good things can come out of it. Monetary wise also, because Jupiter is your 2nd and 11th lord. If you have some property to sell also, that also you can get a better money or deal. Those things can happen. It can accumulate to your savings. Those accumulations is part of Taurus and all these things. So go along with this transit. It is a teaching transit. It's teaching you how to navigate through the rough waters or the muddy waters or the rough patches that you're going through now. Believe me, everybody does that. If you little bit, what I have seen in my this tryst with astrology is that's why Saturn is the Kal. It comes back for everyone. Today per signs maybe suffers for 4, 5, 6 years, and then it's somebody else's turn to go through the same churning process. So don't get demotivated. Take the best times, and the videos are available. I'm telling all these things because yes, I understand Aquarius are going through a lot of pressures at this from the last few years only. They are. Okay, then last sign is the Pisces. Jupiter was in your 2nd house for the last 1 year, and your Lagna Lord in the 2nd house was a very good placement actually. Only thing, Saturn is there still in your 11th house. Some undue expenditures, though if you have been able to save money, that's very good. I think you have. But Saturn will give, because it's in its own sign, it will give some kind of expenses in the 12th house, some kind of dan you have to do, which will be inevitable at certain point. If you want to go for foreign stay, foreign studies or other expenses, Saturn may have given. Now when Jupiter comes into the 3rd house is a very vibrant house. And Jupiter over here gives a lot of, a person wants to do a lot of things. First and foremost, it can be like traveling, because third and ninth axis is getting activated, and it is like local travels, long distance travels, all these things can happen very well in this transit. Now this is also a house of flexibility. How flexible you are, that is the third house. How you communicate, how you deal with your neighbors, your neighborhood can go for a change, all these things the third house will denote. Your younger siblings also, they may, if you had a rift, they may come close to you. That is also very much a kind of sharing and bonding, because Taurus is the family. So all these things are bound to happen in the coming 1 year time. It is it's a, see, Jupiter, though it's not a very good position in the third house, but Jupiter here expands the productivity of the house, and it makes you more flexible. It makes you quite, you want to do the things related to third house. Maybe it's a hobby, maybe changing your place if required, maybe dealing with your siblings in a good way, maybe communicating in a good way, maybe traveling short and long distances, all the things you want to do. You are quite busy. Next 1 year will be quite a busy year, because it's a very active house. Third house is a very active house. Now that's good. After the second house matters, after being very calm, patient, saving money, now you come to the third house and you explore a little bit of things, because third house is the original Gemini house, right? So it has a lot of things to do. Gemini is that kind of a sign. Now Jupiter is aspecting your ninth house, and Saturn and Rahu is also. Saturn by the 10th aspect, Rahu by the 9th aspect. So here the Scorpio sign becomes very important for all the ascendants, wherever it is. For you, it is the 9th house. Your bhagya will change due to some efforts that you have to put in by yourself, because your Lagna Lord is in the third house. And the actions that you take, which will be judicious, actually, it will be judicious. This action that you will take now, or you're on the verge of taking in whatever field of your life which requires maybe a little bit of flexibility from your end, will change your bhagya. Slowly but surely it will change. And because, see, Pisces, I feel this 9th house Scorpio is a very intense sign of the bhagya parivartan. Scorpio is all about some changes and some letting go of the past things and beginning with something rising as a as a phoenix. So you will get that confidence, not immediately, because Jupiter will become combust, and immediately when it will enter Taurus, it will get combust for 1 month. So wait for that 1 month to go. Then as Jupiter goes into Rohini, and slowly you'll start getting the vitality back, because it is your Lagna Lord, no, it's going combust. So certain times what happens, especially the Rahu Ketu axis is on the Lagna and in the 7th house. Sometimes you can feel that it is little confusing for you. You want, your dreams are big, but you don't know what to do. And some issues, if with the partner is there, some kind of separative issues, or some sudden things happening with them, something or the other, good or bad, you will have a knowledge how, because Jupiter will aspect your 7th house. You can go for a marriage also. That can also happen, because third house is desire house also. So Jupiter expands when its third is aspect the 7th and the 11th. So it is a good, in that way it is, in a desire fulfillment way, it is good, not bad. You'll be able to deal with the 7th house matters more graciously. Actually 11th house, you obviously, Jupiter aspects the 11th house, it is good boost to your finances. Somewhere money can come to you, maybe a little subdued, because Capricorn is having the Nicha Drishti of but then debilitated Drishti for the Upacha house is not bad actually. So it is a mixed transit. More vitality wise, I'll say it's good. Rahu is on the Lagna, but don't be very agile, because Jupiter, because it's not aspecting your Lagna, no, and Rahu is there on the Lagna. Jupiter is getting the aspect in the 7th house, not on the 1st house. So if you take a distance journey also, think before it, do this. If you want to go, you may start, maybe you are not too much a follower of a temple, you may start going to a temple, you may visit religious spaces. All these things can happen with this transit, because ninth house is going for a change. Jupiter is in the third house, giving you a lot of vitality. Rahu is there on the Lagna, it is expanding, you know, Rahu is that dreamy planet. So it's a good transit. No way it's a bad, but you have to be a little flexible in it. Your communication things will change. Your neighborhood can also change. Maybe if you want to at all change, it can go for a change. So all in all, it's a good transit, Pisces ascendant. So this was the total video of Jupiter in Taurus. I'll come up with the nakshatra wise transit of Jupiter when and now it's in Kritika as it goes to Rohini. We'll see what happens. Till then, I hope to make a next video next week. Let's see what happens. Till then, goodbye and take good care. Thank you.